Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Mike Muldoon podcast. Hope you're doing well. We have this interesting thing going on right now in the sky in the UK here. It's really, really interesting. There's this like hot ball of light that is shining in this bright blue abyss. It's very rare here. It's very rare. You really notice when the sun's out. When I lived in when we were back in the Carolinas for a bit, or when I lived in Los Angeles for a long time, you get so used to seeing the sun. It was out all the time, blue skies all the time. It was only when you noticed it was gray, you're like, wait, what's going on here? But in England, you notice when the sun is out. I mean, it makes a huge difference, huge difference. So anyway, it's beating and I'm loving it. I hope everybody around is having a good week thus far, getting set for their weekend. It's the holiday season for my American friends and my American listeners all around the country, around the world. It's Thanksgiving coming up. Yes, it is. Then we got Christmas, and then we slingshot right through the New Year. So anyway, today I want to talk about, I have this thing, where it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. So let's even do it. Like the world grows up around us. Like if you ever just pay attention, everything just grows up around us, whether it's people, whether it's plants, trees, whatever it is, right? Like everything just grows up around us, And it's like this fast-paced world. It's very easy sometimes to feel left behind, right? And when I'm in this case, where people are, maybe growing up faster in their careers or achieving their goals faster, whatever it is, right? Like we often find ourselves scrambling to keep up, wondering how everything seems to be evolving at a pace sort of beyond our control. Whether it's in our personal lives, careers, relationships, or just in society as a whole. The world is in a constant motion. But what if we shifted our perspective? Like, what if instead of struggling against the tide of change, we just recognize that the world is growing up around us and that we, too, are part of this journey? Like, embracing the idea that the world grows up around us can fundamentally transform how we relate to change. Rather than seeing it as something we need to keep up with or adapt to, we can view it as a natural, inevitable part of life that offers opportunities for growth. See, in every new challenge, every unexpected turn, there lies a potential for learning and discovery. Talk about change in this podcast, right? Because change is what a lot of times we need. Change of perspective, change of scenery, change of job, whatever it is. I mean, and change often can feel like an adversary, but in truth, it's one of life's most valuable teachers. Consider some of the most transformative experiences you had in your life, whether it was moving to a new city, taking on a new job, or just navigating a personal loss. These experiences, however difficult, brought with them lessons that shaped who you are today. When we see change as a teacher, we shift from a mindset of resistance to one of openness. Each shift in the world around us becomes an opportunity to learn something new about ourselves and, of course, of our potential. Like the perspectives invites us to engage with life's changes more intentionally, with a willingness to grow rather than like a fear of being left behind, So as the world grows up around us, it's natural to feel like we're at risk of losing our sense of self. We may question if we're moving in the right direction or if we're capable of keeping up. And this is where it's important for alignment. This is where alignment comes in. See, growth doesn't necessarily mean changing everything about you or who you are to fit into an evolving world. It just means aligning your personal evolution with the parts of the world changes that resonates most with you. For example, as technology advances, right, you may choose to focus on how these changes can support your own learning or help you reach others in new ways. Or, you don't have to embrace every trend. See, that's even my fault sometimes. I mean, every time I turn around, there's this new thing. Oh, you're not using this. You're not doing this. You're not this. You don't do this. You're not spending 6 hours a day doing this. You haven't read these top 58 books that somebody talked about. You're not using these 38 technologies. Every day something. And even sometimes I find myself overwhelmed. But it's important that again, you don't realize you have to embrace every trend. You don't have to read the top 25 books that somebody recommends to you. You don't have to do this over here that someone else is not doing. You don't have to take it, you just find what works for you. Finding where the world's evolution really intersects with your goals is how you can grow more purposefully. Take some time to, to identify the aspects of change that align with your values. Are there areas where you're excited to grow? Skills you're eager to learn? This self-reflection, this is going to help you navigate the world's growth in a way that feels more authentic and more grounded to you. Another thing is, and I talk about this often again, if you just go back and listen to 100 and some episodes I have here, a lot of it is how do you deal with change? Change is uncomfortable. Change is good for you. And a lot of it is just letting go of control. If you listened to my podcast last week, if the answer is no, let it go, right? What I'm saying is you can't control it. You got to let it go, right? One of the most challenging aspects of a constantly changing world is this loss of control. When things don't go as planned or routines are disrupted, it's natural to feel uneasy, but that's part of growing up, both individually and collectively. This just involves letting go of this need to control everything. I can probably say a lot of challenges with people in their lives is this need to control everything, need to control their narratives, need to control people, need to control instead of just letting go and just kind of getting into what I like to say is flow. Especially if you're somebody who's constantly worried about how people are perceiving you. So you're doing this face and that face. I'd highly recommend go back and listen to my podcast way back a few years ago, moving from a lamb to a lion, which again has nothing to do with strength in terms of physicality, but more in terms of mental of I'm just going to be me. This is who I am. And if you like it, great. If not, it's okay. I'm just going to move through the world. And I got to tell you, it's a much, much better place when you live there. But again, letting go doesn't mean you're giving up. Right? It's what I talked about last week. Instead, it's just about finding peace in unpredictability, unpredictable situations. And just trusting that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way by releasing this need to constantly, rigidly control things. You open yourself up to experiences that, may otherwise have passed you. You allow your life to surprise you. You turn a fear into an adventure. You turn an unknown into a discovery. A useful exercise that, might work for somebody is just practicing mindfulness, right? Focus on what you can control. Your reactions, your attitudes, and your choices. These are things you can control. Nobody else can control. You can control them. Something I'm very heavy when I talk about when I talk to my kids about, my daughter's now getting to that age where kids are teasing and, little rumors go about and this and that. And I always tell her, honey, you cannot control any of that, but you can control how you react to it. You can control how you react to this situation. And a lot of it, again, is just being aware that you cannot control everything. And this, when you do it, again, it's going to help you build resilience. It's going to allow you to adapt more easily because the world has continued to grow. And we should celebrate that journey of evolution. If we didn't change, if the world didn't grow up around us, we'd still be hanging out in caves. Still trying to build a wheel. Still worried about the saber-toothed tiger. We're a part of a larger journey of evolution, both as individuals, as a society. While growth can sometimes feel uncomfortable, it's also a reason for celebration. Every change in the world invites us to learn, adapt, improve. Look around you, reflect on how much you've already grown in response to life's changes. Every lesson, every skill you've got, every bit of resilience you've built along the way is a testament to your ability to grow. Celebrate these small wins. Let them remind you that you're evolving alongside the world. And by doing so, you're going to embrace that thing I talk about often, growth mindset. As the world continues to grow around you, it's essential to cultivate a lifelong growth mindset. This just means remaining open to learning, embracing challenges, seeing every new experience as an opportunity to become a more fulfilled version of yourself. A growth mindset, it's going to help us view the future, not with anxiety, but with excitement. Imagine a life where you welcome change as a friend, where each shift in the world around you feels like a new chapter to explore. Wow, this is new. My gamers out there, it's a new room I'm walking into. This doesn't mean every change will be easy. Some will be difficult. I've put myself through tons of change. I'm in change now. It's not easy. But you know what? I feel like everything's possible because of how much I've done in the past. If you've been following my podcast, if you know me, You know that I'm not somebody who got on a microphone when everything was great and then starts telling you about their journey, about how to get there. I don't come from a position of I'm already successful, so let me tell you. I come from a position of doing the journey as well. I've made a lot. Go back and listen to my earlier podcast. See what I've gone through. Consider, making another international move. Not easy, not cheap. These are not easy moves to make. But I do it because I'm committed to making sure that I do everything in my life to live a life. And if I see an opportunity to improve that life, whether it's for myself or for my kids or whatever, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to sit back. My biggest fear in life is regret. Looking back at all the things I didn't do. And as much as I have done, moving internationally twice, traveling, picking up, moving to Los Angeles and, 21, 22, living in New York City, doing everything, the ups and downs and all that. I still feel like I haven't done everything that I can do. But to me, it's just about committing to a mindset of growth. You'll develop the resilience to navigate whatever life brings you. And because I've been doing so much of it, I've actually got a pretty good, resilience when faced with challenges. So listen, the world grows up around us every day, and we have a choice of how we respond. We can resist, trying on to hold on to the version of life that may longer serve us, or we can lean into the journey of growth. By seeing change as a teacher, aligning with the world's evolution, letting go of control, celebrating our progress, your progress, embracing a growth mindset, we can grow up alongside the world with purpose, joy, happiness, getting out of bed every day and feeling like, yes. Remember, growth, it doesn't all happen at once. It's a gradual journey, a constant unfolding. So just take it one day at a time, trusting in your ability to evolve, and know that each change is going to bring you closer to the person you're really meant to be. And like I said, it is a gradual process. I feel like over the last decade or so, people have been hammered over the head about, I've got to be so positive. I've got to be so positive. I've got to be so positive. Now, I've talked about this before on my podcast. Positivity is great. Negativity is not bad as well. Negativity sometimes just tells you what you don't want. That's what it tells you. It's okay. And what I'm saying here is, if you have a bad day, don't kick yourself. It's like if you started a gym routine and you worked out every day for 5 days and you ate your chicken and your rice and your broccoli, and you counted your macros and your carbs and everything you did. And then one day you slip up on Saturday and you had that cheese pizza with, everything on top of it, and you followed it up with ice cream. Don't kick yourself. Don't kick yourself. It's okay. Just start up again the next day. It's okay. And again, getting back to the negative thing, what I'm saying is, oh God, well, you know what? I can't do this. I'm having a bad day. It's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. I think people who try to walk around the world and pretend like, oh my God, everything's so great. Everything's great. Everything's great. They're not living, because they're cutting off the human experience. Half the human experience is frustration sometimes. It's anger. It's saying, you know what? I've had enough. I want more. I want change. The thing is, you can't exist in the negativity. That's the problem, right? I always say you can have it, but you can't exist in it. Existence, you can't complain about something every day to your friends, to your family, to everybody, every day complain about it and do nothing about it. You got to make change. When you make the change, that's when things happen. All right. So listen, thank you again so much for tuning in this week. As always, I appreciate you. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. Maybe, it'd be really cool. Look, I'm 100 and something episodes in. I have committed to you all. I have committed to this. Most podcasts don't get past episode 7 because people realize, oh, I don't have a huge following yet. Well, this is a waste of time. I don't know. I just do it. Somebody asked me all day, why do you do your podcast? I just do it. I just like doing it. I like throwing it out to the world. I like help people. I like it. I've got something to share. It also is a good reminder for me weekly. This is great. It's part for me too. Remind myself about this stuff. So, it'd be great if you just took an episode and just sent it to your friends, sent it to a family member, said, hey, look, I've been listening to this guy. Why don't you give him a listen? Please, the Apple and Spotify reviews, if you can hit them. I try not to beg you guys for these things. Again, 100 something episodes in, it just helps out if you can hit that thing. But listen, it is the weekend coming. I wish you to be safe. I wish you to be happy, you to be healthy. And as always, I got nothing but love for you.